Hey everybody, hope you're doing well today. Thanks for joining me again. Day 70 of Take a Journey with Me. Today I'm going to speak about the woman with the issue of blood. Jesus healed many people during his ministry on earth. The woman with the issue of blood was just one of them, one of those many. As yesterday with Mary and Martha and many others their accounts are in the Bible throughout Jesus's ministry. This particular account of the woman with the issue of blood was written about in more of the four gospels than just one. Matthew 9 verses 20 to 22, Mark 5 verses 22 to 34, and Luke 8 verses 43 to 48. Today I'm going to share just one of those passages with you, and that's going to be Mark 5:22 to 34. But all three are worth going back and reading as you get an opportunity to do so. I really recommend it. There are different vantage points, as I was saying yesterday, it are really worth reading about. Mark 5:22 to 24. And a woman was there who had been subject to bleeding for 12 years. She had suffered a great deal under the care of many doctors and had spent all that she had. Yet instead of getting better, she grew worse. When she heard about Jesus, she came up behind him in the crowd and touched his cloak, because she thought, if I just touch his clothes, I will be healed. Immediately, her bleeding stopped, and she felt in her body that she was freed from her suffering. At once, Jesus realized that power had gone out from him. At once. The minute it happened, the second it happened. He turned around in the crowd and asked, "Who touched my clothes? Who touched me?" "You see the people crowding against you," his disciples said, "and yet you can ask, 'Who touched me?'" But Jesus kept looking around to see who had done it. Then the woman, knowing what happened to her, came and fell at the feet of Jesus. She was trembling with fear and told him the truth. He said to her, "Daughter, your faith has healed you. Go in peace and be freed from your suffering." Mm. As with the woman at the well, oh, thanks be to God. Sorry. As with the woman at the well and others throughout the Bible, the woman with the issue of blood was not named. There was much ridicule with those who were ceremonially unclean. My PTSD affects me. I'm so sorry. And you can see this account about speaking about being unclean ceremonially in the book of Leviticus. But during that time that they were living in, this was very big importance. Her personal emotions and pains, on top of what this issue was doing to her in the community, had to have knocked her down deep. She had to have been greatly depressed. Have you ever felt backed into a corner in a way that you tried everything you could to make things right? The woman with the issue of the blood is but one biblical example that there is a way out. Just don't give up and instead grow deeper in your walk and faith with Jesus. This account is one example of giving hope to believers that they could be healed according to his will for each individual. But this giving of hope has helped believers over centuries. This belief that she had in Jesus was amazing to me. Knowing just touching the hem of his robe could heal her shows her faith that she had in him. When I was living in Costa Rica from 2004 to 2006, I was in Sunday school one day. My boyfriend and actually my mother were sitting there with me. Our class was studying about the woman with the issue of blood. My then boyfriend reached over to my Bible and underlined the passage about her for me. Knowing my history with endometriosis and having a baby in heaven, with now no longer capable of having children, his heart connected with mine, and he knew that I needed that Sunday school lesson that day. When I was in my early 20s, my baby went on to be with the Lord. Years later, after 5 surgeries, I was in my early 30s and found myself unable to have children anymore. The woman with the issue of blood went to many doctors over the years, and none could stop her hemorrhaging. That is why she knew going to Jesus that day had to happen for her. Having such faith as she did is something that I desperately longed for during my lowest days, my darkest days. I was already battling severe depression, and my PTSD, MST symptoms, triggers were full on affecting me. That boyfriend that I had then in Costa Rica touched my soul tremendously that day when he marked that Bible passage. As I mentioned before, I attempted suicide 12 times, and none of them were within 3 years. And I was living in Costa Rica in the midst of those 3 years. With my history of abuse and my baby in heaven, as well as physical injuries causing many of my 20ish surgeries by that time, I was at a horrible space in my life. Since then, I have come a long way, but these symptoms have continued to plague me with countless thoughts of ending my life. Since then, the thing that changed me was my finally having full faith in God, finally letting go and letting God lead the way in my life, finally giving my hurts, habits, and hangups to Him. Is there something you're battling today that has kept you troubled for many years now? Do you sometimes feel that your troubles will never go away? Please do not give up on the possibility of peace and healing again. Please run to Him with the faith as the woman with the issue of blood did. He loves you. He keeps you in His arms and loves you unconditionally. Just run to Him and know that He will take care of you. But you have to give Him that faith. You have to stay in prayer and know that He's the one that can do it for you. I love y'all. God bless. Bye-bye. See you tomorrow.